Hello to all YouTubers. I just received some information from a resource. This probably online, or you guys probably heard about this. I don't know. But it says U.S. government gave $3.7 million grant to Wuhan lab at Center of Coronavirus Leak Scrutiny that was performing experiments on bats from the caves where the disease is believed to have originated. The U.S. National Institute of Health, a government agency, awarded a $3.7 million research grant to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The lab is the center of several conspiracy theories that suggest it is the original source of the coronavirus outbreak. The Institute experimented on bats from the source of the coronavirus. They were captured more than 1,000 miles away in some place in China called Yunnan or Yunnan. It's spelled Yunnan. Sequencing of the COVID-19 genome has traced it to bats to Yunnan's caves. Yunnan's caves. The U.S. government funded research on coronavirus transmission in the lab over the past decade. Let me read that again. The U.S. government funded research on coronavirus transmission in the lab over the past decade. The Chinese laboratory at the Center of Scrutiny over potential coronavirus leak has been using U.S. government money to carry out research on bats from the caves, which scientists believe are the original source of the deadly outbreak. The Wuhan Institute of Virology undertook coronavirus experiments on mammals captured more than 1,000 miles away in Yunnan, which were funded by a $3.7 million grant from the U.S. government. I'm going to stop right there. See, that's why I told somebody in the beginning. The U.S. and China, more than likely, is in the bed with each other. And I said this about a month and a half ago, about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Because all these conflicting stories coming out, and I know from experience, if we're doing business with another country, international country, I know that the U.S. has certain people over in those countries monitoring certain activity. And I'm going to prove that by continuing reading this. Sequencing on the COVID-19 genome has traced it back on bats found in Yunnan caves, but was first thought to have transferred to humans at an animal market in Wuhan. The revelation that the Wuhan Institute was experimenting on bats from the area already knew to be the source of COVID-19 and doing so with American money has sparked further fears that the lab and not the market is the original outbreak source. Lawmakers and pressure groups were quick to hit out at U.S. funding being provided for the dangerous and cruel animal experiments at the Wuhan Institute. A laboratory at the Center of Scrutiny over the coronavirus pandemic has been carrying out research on bats from the cave, which scientists believe is the original source of the outbreak. Workers are seen next to a cage with mice inside the P4 laboratory in Wuhan. It has been revealed that the lab also carried out research on bats from the source location of COVID-19. The institute is located only 20 miles from the food market where it was originally believed that the outbreak began. Experts continue to say the virus was transmitted from animal to human and was not lab engineered in China, as some conspiracy theories have claimed. U.S. Congress Matt, I can't pronounce his name, but it's spelled Gaetz, said, "I'm disgusted to learn that for years the U.S. government has been funding dangerous and cruel animal experiments at the Wuhan Institute, which may have contributed to the global spread of coronavirus, and research at other labs in China that have virtually no oversight from U.S. authorities." Let me say that again. Have virtually no oversight from U.S. authorities. On Saturday, Anthony Bellotti, president of the U.S. pressure group White Coat Waste, condemned his government for spending tax dollars in China, adding, "Animals infected with viruses or otherwise sickened and abused in Chinese labs reportedly may be sold to wet markets for consumption once experiments are done." So when they get through experimenting with these animals in the lab, they shoot them over there to the wet market to be sold where people can consume this stuff. The $3.7 million Wuhan Institute of Virology, the most advanced laboratory of its type on the Chinese mainland, is based 20 miles from the new infamous wildlife market that was thought to be the location of the original transfer of the virus from animals to humans. According to documents obtained by the Mail on Sunday, scientists there experimented on bats as part of a project funded by the U.S. National Institute of Health, which continues to license the Wuhan laboratory to receive American money for experiments. Wait a minute, I ain't finished. I got some more for you. Hold on. I got some more for you. I ain't finished. This is, Representative Matt, spelled G, last name spelled Gaetz, a Republican for Florida, Pitchard, has criticized U.S. funding of research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology after it emerged that experiments were being conducted on bats from Yunnan, Yunnan, the location experts believe to be the original source of deadly COVID-19. Anthony Bellotti, the founder of the national campaign manager of the White Coat Waste Project, slammed the use of U.S. funding to perform experiments on bats in Wuhan. China is clamping down on research into the origins of the coronavirus after officials have demanded the right to inspect its scientific papers before they are made public. Two websites are leading Chinese universities have allegedly recently published and then remove pages that discuss a new policy which requires academic papers about COVID-19 to undergo extra checks before they are published, according to The Guardian. Both Fudan University and the China University of Geosciences, Wuhan, allegedly posted notices saying that research on the origins of the coronavirus will be subject to government checks. The director of the SOAS China Institute in London, Professor Steve Tizang, said that the Chinese government is more concerned with controlling the narrative surrounding coronavirus than public health or economic fallout. The source who found the catch versions of the website said they were concerned at what appeared to be a governmental cover-up. I guess it's pronounced Cleach, C-A-C-H-E. The source who found the Cleach, the catch, or whatever how they pronounce that word, versions of the website said they were concerned at what appeared to be governmental cover-up. The NIH is the primary agency of the United States government responsible for biomedical and public health research. The Wuhan Institute lists them on their website as a partner, as well as several other American academic institutions. Other U.S. partners include the University of Alabama, the University of North Texas, Harvard University, and the National Wildlife Federation. As part of the NIH research at the Institute, scientists grew a coronavirus in a lab and injected it into 3-day-old piglets. The news that COVID-19 bats were under research there means that a leak from the Wuhan laboratory can no longer be completely ruled out. According to one unverified claim, scientists at the Institute could have infected. According to one unverified claim, scientists at the Institute could have become infected after being sprayed with blood containing the virus and then passed it on to local community. A second institute in the city, the Wuhan Center for Disease Control, which is barely 3 miles from the market, is also believed to have carried out experiments on animals such as bats to examine the transmission of coronaviruses. The Wuhan Institute, which keeps more than 1,500 strains of deadly viruses, 1,500 strains of deadly viruses, specializes in the research of the most dangerous pathogens, in particular the viruses carried by bats. Chinese officials decided to build the institute after the country was I guess that's pronounced ravaged by an outbreak of SARS in 2002 and 2003, which SARS stands for Syndrome Acute Respiratory Syndrome, or something like that there. SARS, another kind of virus, killed 775 people and infected more than 8,000 globally in an epidemic. Bats have been linked with seven major epidemics over the past 3 decades. Since an outbreak of the novel coronavirus emerged in the city in December, it has been at the center of conspiracy theories which suggest that the bug originated there. While scientists believe that the virus jumped to humans from wild animals sold as food in a market in Wuhan, conspiracy theorists promote different assumptions. Some of them claim that the virus, formerly known as SARS-CoV-2, could be a biological warfare weapon engineered there. Others suspect that it escaped from the lab. Chinese has repeatedly denied the allegations. Biosafety Level 4 Laboratory, Wuhan Institute of Virology. The institute is at the center of several controversial conspiracy theories that claim it is to blame for the coronavirus outbreak. A worker seen in inside the P4 laboratory in Wuhan, capital of China's Hubei, is spelled Hubei, province, in February of 2020. It is feared COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab, sparking the outbreak. Shai Zingli, I guess this is the guy's name, or a woman's name, a deputy director of the institute, told the press in February that she guaranteed with her own life that the outbreak was not related to the lab. So she put her life on that, saying, no, it wasn't from the lab. She admits that when summoned back from a conference to investigate the new disease, she wondered at first if a coronavirus could have escaped from her unit. She was warned about the danger of epidemics from bat-borne viruses, but she said she did not expect such an outbreak in Wuhan, in the center of China, since her studies suggested subtropical areas in the south had the highest risk of such zoonotic transmission to humans. Shai told the respected scientist journal Scientific America, I guess that's the name of the journal, Scientific America, last month of her relief when, having checked back through disposal records, none of the genome sequences matched their virus samples. That really took a load off my mind. This is what she's saying. That really took a load off my mind. I had not slept a wink for days, she said. Many international experts have also dismissed such theories. Now, they have somebody here is a doctor. I'm not able to pronounce this name either. It's spelled Keusch. Professor of Medicine and International Health of Boston University Schools of Medicine and Public Health, stressed that no release of viruses from a high-level lab such as the one in Wuhan, has ever happened. He defended his peers in the Chinese city as he said, the Wuhan lab is designed to the highest standards with redundant safety systems and the highest level of training. Many of its research faculty trained at a similar laboratory in Galveston, Texas. So we know the Wuhan team is as qualified as the Texas group. This means the assertion of a leak, rather than being highly likely, instead is highly unlikely. Last week, further doubt was cast on the animal market theory. However, after Ko Ben, this must be a guy, a doctor of the Wuhan I can't even pronounce that, but it's spelled JINYINTAN, hospital, highlighted research showing that 13 of the first 41 patients diagnosed with the infection had not had any contact with the market. It seems clear that the seafood market is not the only origin of the virus, he said. Wait a minute, I got more. I ain't even finished. I got a little bit more for you. Check this out. American biosecurity expert Professor Richard E. Bright of Rutgers University Wakeman's Institute of Microbiology, New Jersey, said that while the evidence suggests COVID-19 was not created in one of the Wuhan laboratories, it could easily have escaped from there while it was being analyzed. Professor Ebright said he has seen evidence that scientists at the Center for Disease Control and the Institute of Virology study the virus with only level 2 security rather than recommended level 4. So I guess that's supposed to be the highest, level 4. I guess level 4 is like the highest security level, I guess, which provides only minimum protection against infection of lab workers. Okay, level 2 security rather than recommend. Okay, well, yeah, I guess. All right. He added virus collection, culture, isolation, or animal infection will pose a substantial risk of infection of a lab worker, and from the lab worker, then the public. He concluded that the evidence left a bias to rule out that coronavirus is a lab construct, but no bias to rule out a lab accident. Results of the U.S. funded research at the Wuhan Institute were published in November 2017 under the heading Discovery of a Rich Gene Pool of Bat SARS-Related Coronaviruses Provides New Insight into the Origin of SARS Coronavirus. The exercise was summarized as bats in a cave in Yunnan, China, were captured and sampled for coronaviruses used for lab experiments. All sampling procedures were performed by veterinarians with approval from the Animal Ethics Committee of the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Bat sampling were conducted 10 times from April of 2011 to October of 2015 at different seasons in their natural habitat at a single location cave in Kunming, Yunnan Province, China. Kunming, Kunming. Bats were trapped and facial. That's supposed to be FAECAL. If I'm not mistaken, that's supposed to be like poop. You know, your manure. Swap samples were collected. Another study published in April 2018 was titled Fatal Swine Acute Diarrhea Syndrome caused by an HKU2 related coronavirus of bat origin, and described the research as such. Following a 2016 bat-related coronavirus outbreak of Chinese pig farms, bats were captured in a cave and samples were taken. Experimenters grew the virus in a lab and injected it into 3-day-old piglets. Intestinal samples from sick piglets were ground up and fed to other piglets as gross. The coronavirus pandemic has killed more than 108,000 people and infected over 1.7 million worldwide. On Saturday, the American outbreak became the deadliest in the world, over 2,000 deaths in a day. The national death toll is 20,087, and there are 522,643 confirmed cases as of Saturday evening, which was yesterday. Then it goes on to say, China muzzled its Batwoman. Beijing authorities hushed up the findings of a scientist who unlocked the genetic makeup of the coronavirus within days of the outbreak, which is vital for tests and vaccines. A Chinese scientist who is one of the world's leading experts of coronaviruses was muzzled after unrevealing the genetic composition of the new disease, which is crucial for developing diagnostic tests and vaccines. The revelation will fuel fresh concerns over China's cover-up of the pandemic after it erupted in the city of Wuhan. Critics argued that the Communist Party chiefs frustrated efforts to contain the outbreak before it exploded around the world. At the center of the new claims is Shi Jinglai, known as China's Batwoman. That's the lady I was talking about earlier. After years spent on difficult virus hunting expeditions in dank caves that have led to a series of important scientific discoveries, the virologist was called back to her high-security laboratory in Wuhan at the end of the last year after a mysterious new respiratory condition in the city was identified as a novel coronavirus, and within 3 days, she completed its gene sequencing. A virology lab like the one Shi Jinglai completed the gene sequencing of the coronavirus. Her team's work and several other breakthroughs in subsequent days indicating the virus was linked to horseshoe bats found more than 1,000 miles away in Yunnan, a region of southern China. I guess he had dropped off at the door. Her team and several other breakthroughs. Oh, well, okay. Their findings show it was similar to SARS, a respiratory disease that sparked an epidemic in 33 countries after emerging from China in 2002. Jiao Yu, a Chinese journalist freed last week after 76 days of lockdown in Wuhan, said he spoke to Shi during his incarceration and revealed, we learned later her institute finished gene sequencing and related tests as early as January 2nd, but was muzzled. I can go on for days. Yeah, well, there you go. Y'all can check that out and look at your what's going. I can't believe you carrying all those packages. All right, do your own research. If you want more information, I'll be more than happy to send you the article or the link.